Welcome back. Well, we're having a conversation this evening about the youth vote. Where do young people stand when it comes to the political discourse of South Africa? Most importantly, some of these established, long-standing political parties, will they let young people actually lead? And most importantly, are young people able to take up this baton? While we're still joined by our studio audience, we've got our various panelists represented by numerous political parties, including independent candidates, including and of course, as I said, this is a conversation that is not only ending here, but of course, you can engage with us as well on our social media handles. Make sure that if you want to shed some kind of insight into it, go on to ActionSA and make your voice heard. I'm going to give my audience an opportunity just to respond or even ask questions to some of the panelists. You've heard what these guys were saying about how you should pick them, about why you should be voting for them. Yeah. What say you? Do you buy it, DK?
Well, Faith, thank you, and thank you, everybody. Faith, I definitely need to let you know that there is a sense of despondency. I mean, I'm a young professional. I think I represent a lot of young professionals, and I engage a lot with young entrepreneurs who are highly skilled and who want to contribute to government with their innovations and their ideas to solve the problems that government have, even at a local level. But the issue is there ends up being a misalignment where I'm highly skilled. In the Mid-Vaal, there's a water issue. City of Joburg, there's properties that can, through innovation be, affordable student housing can be created. I come with these brilliant ideas and I want to engage government, but I end up facing not somebody who is possibly equally skilled, because local government is supposed to be the implementation arm of government. They're meant to be skilled, they're meant to have engineers and the relevant people who are going to actually implement the changes that need to be fixed in government. And as a young person, I want to engage them, but I face cadre deployment. I'm not talking to a person in government who is going to say, cool, here's the water problem in the Vaal. As government, we're equipped to come and solve this problem, and you sort of get despondent and discouraged when you want to contribute to government to solve the problems. We're not saying that government has all the answers, but we're saying create a conducive environment for young people to help alleviate the problems and to help grow the economy and help grow our local government and help the municipalities run more efficiently, because we're skilled, we're studying, but yet we're not met with the same sort of level of ambition. Yeah,
well, Fasir, maybe you can take that, because when it comes to comrades in chief, not everybody can say, comrade chief, can you get me a tender here, can you get me a job here? You got skilled young people saying, actually, all I've got are my qualifications, and to be met with comrade in chief, but you even know that the president of the ANC themselves spoke during the state capture inquiry about the very same issue around cadre deployment. What is to be done about cadre deployment? Certainly it works in some instances, but where these guys as young people feel absolutely marginalized, somehow it needs to be put to a stop.
All right, on the thing of cadre deployment, and I think DK's raised a very important point, where a lot of young people who do have the skills, who want to get involved, are often not necessarily put in touch with the right people. But on a separate issue, I mean, we'll get into cadre deployment specifically, the policy position and all of that. But what is important is young people who feel they are not represented. And you've started off by saying the despondency amongst young people, the despondency amongst young professionals. One of the big things that we're going to be pushing through is what we're calling the Gauteng Township Economy Bill. And the idea behind it is giving more support to young people, young youth-owned SMMEs, bringing in the different expertise, but it's also about innovative thinking. It's really about opening up that space. And DK, I agree with you. So many young people have often been sent from pillar to post. And one of the big things, especially for us as the Youth League, is about opening up that space. And not just opening up that space to young people in the ANC, but opening up that space to the youth population in this country. At the end of the day, it's young people who need to feel represented. And that's another big point that we spoke about earlier, right? We spoke about joblessness. One of the big things we're also pushing is for a very specific stimulus package from the president that can be directed for young people. So when we talk about youth unemployment, when we talk about jobs, opportunities, innovation, all of those things, we want it to be specific to young people, and we want it to be specifically directed as well. But there are challenges in this regard, and that's one of the reasons why you find us as young people in the ANC trying to turn that around and trying to be a part of something much bigger than ourselves as well.
You're trying, but are you winning?
I think that we are getting there. If you look, no,
they're not agreeing. I mean, they're not. Let's
talk about the numbers. Let's talk about the numbers in terms of are they winning? Let's talk about the numbers.
You must check how she ran away from the question of cadre deployment.
In Gauteng,
the question was about cadre deployment.
No, okay.
She told us about policies and everything, and ran away. She is running away from the big animal, the white.
Okay, but let's give an opportunity then to go into
cadre deployment. Young people are not getting jobs because matriculants are running cities. Young people are not getting funding because when you go to NYDA, you find comrades there. And it's not only the issue of the ANC. We know about the DA, of a trainer who was a manager in the office of the in Pretoria. And it's not only his leader is a matriculant himself.
Please, can I come in?
What I'm saying is we must go, let's wait there. Let's talk about the effects of cadre deployment on this despondency, on us as young people. Let's wait there.
Thanks. I think young people know what the issues are. We know what the problems are. And I think the ANC is being very disingenuous about cadre deployment. Now, let me tell you what we've done in the DA, in Parliament. We've put and tabled the End Cadre Deployment Bill in Parliament, where we've said specifically that we do not want people to get jobs based on who they know, based on patronage, which is what the ANC has done. Just a quick example, the NYTT sent a list to Parliament to say who the board members of the NYDA should be. So that's cadre deployment happening. And I think to address the issue of what my brother has said about the DA, to address the issue that my brother has said about the DA is based on meritocracy. That has always been our policy. We deploy people based on skills, and where we have governed.
If it's white people, it can be anyone.
Brother, give me an opportunity to speak.
Okay, let's give him a moment.
If it's my money, he must have degrees.
I gave you an opportunity
to
give me an opportunity to speak.
Give him an opportunity to speak. It's still my panelist.
Young people have had enough of. This show that you're seeing now is exactly the kind of politics that young people keep calling out to say, this can't be it. Okay? We are now the adults in the room. And we can't be the ones who say, look, the adults, when they're on their own, they've been doing politics in this way, in a way that doesn't really benefit anyone. It becomes a shouting contest. You know, it can't be that. It can't continue any longer. We really can have reasonable discussions amongst ourselves. And here's the simple fact. You know, Leolo mentioned earlier, Uguti, ActionSA is not new kid because leaders come from the DA. Well, firstly, that is not the truth. At least it's not the whole truth. We have leaders from everywhere. You know, we have leaders who came from the DA, we have leaders who came from the ANC, we have leaders who came from ACDP, and we have leaders who have no, we have people who are not, who have no political experience at all, who come from the private sector, who come from civil society and the like. We have people from across the board.
So in other words, if I have to get it right,
give you a chance to speak, can I be allowed a chance to speak?
And then you have to give me a chance to speak because it's still my conversation. Right here, guys. Right here. So ActionSA, in essence, basically, is a melting pot of a variety of political parties that have decided it's not working. Let me finish. It's not working with the other political parties. We're going to come together and form our own political party. The problem is, you see the kids that you were referring to in the room where the adult has to step in. You've got some of those kids within your own political party called ActionSA right now. You still have values of the DA. You've got those that are coming from the ANC, values of the ANC. You've got those that are going to come in from the EFF. So in other words, what makes you so different? And let me ask, I'm not going to pose that question to you. I'm going to pose it to them. Andile. Are they any different?
Not really. I don't think they've shown us what they come with, because there's new parties, but still the same. I don't think they've focused on youth. You must focus on youth because the problem is clearly
I was
there.
cut off. I was cut off.
You're cutting him off.
Let's give him a chance. Yeah?
Yeah, I think, guys, I think I'll pose this question. Is youth doing enough for youth?
That's a good question. Maybe you can take it. Yeah?
Can I continue then where I was?
Yeah.
Yeah, we are doing enough for youth. I already told you about our engagement with young people, or rather the proportion of the engagement that came from young people, number one. Number two, I want to come to the fact that in ActionSA itself, a lot of our leaders and a lot of our candidates are in fact young people, or at least they fall within the band of young people. The average age of our candidate list is below 40. We have the youngest candidate on our whole list is an 18-year-old matriculant. And so on our side, we're saying that, look, the old ways of doing politics where you're like young people, for instance, in the ANC and the DA, in fact, young people, there you can have your own little Bantu stand, go play on by yourselves, and then we'll have one of you come and join us here at the big table to represent all of you. We're saying we don't need to do that anymore. We can have young people seated at the top tables themselves in their numbers. Our chairperson is a mid-30s man. On our Senate, the highest decision-making body of our party, we have 3 young people out of a body of 16. I myself sit on the Youth Advisory Council, which in fact is really just a platform through which young people who both are managers or Senate members or volunteers can come together and just coordinate our affairs.
Sounds and I'm listening to you, but the way that they are responding to the way that they're about to respond to in a short moment, I'll come to you.
They can do that.
In a short moment, I will come to you.
Cadre deployment.
I want to answer that.
In a short moment, I will come to you. I need to go for an ad break, guys.
The second voter asked a question.
Every point
And we are being given a campaign. You have spent 2 minutes and you have not answered the voter.
Can you wait, Chief? You're the only one. You're the only one shouting the most, in fact, and there's no good reason for you to do that. We are less than a meter apart, my brother. We are less than a meter apart.
Do not make me raise my voice in my own show.
Come on, man.
Let's not do that. We're gonna have all an opportunity to speak.
Yeah.
Let's not forget, this is still Faith Mangope's house, and we will behave like it's Faith Mangope's house. Otherwise, we don't continue at Faith Mangope's house. Yes. We're still in conversation with our political parties. Lots more in store for you after this.